From the New York Post, Trump administration refers New York Attorney General Letitia James for potential prosecution over alleged mortgage fraud.
Good.
This is crazy. It's like there's so many instances it's hard to even go through all of them. In one instance, she was buying a house in Norfolk, Virginia, which she listed as her primary residence. And she did this, they say, to secure favorable terms. They said it was her primary home. Quote, it appears Ms. James' property and mortgage-related misrepresentations may have continued to her recent 2023 Norfolk VA property purchase in order to secure a lower interest rate and more favorable loan terms. If her primary residence was in Virginia, she is ineligible for being AG. And she apparently this happened in 2023 while she was preparing her case against Donald Trump for civil fraud pertaining to the accusation that Trump inflated his assets for more favorable loan terms, of which is a total lie. They also want to mention that she misrepresented a building as having 4 units when it had 5. Why? Because there was a restriction, I believe, on some mortgage applications where you couldn't get a 5-unit building. In order to qualify for a special loan, it had to be 4 or less. So she lied about the size of her building for more favorable terms. That's what she accused Trump of doing, which was also a lie. The question now is, we've seen nothing but half measures. Judge Boasberg says contempt of court hearings to maybe determine whether or not you did. Housing, the Housing Finance Agency saying you should prosecute. Maybe they will. And then this morning you had Pam Bondi say, we are suing Maine for having men and women's sports and considering maybe at some point, just a little bit, taking away their money. Like, how about anybody just do something?
Go in. Got to go all in.
Arrest Letitia James. Criminally charge her for mortgage fraud.
Yes.
Let's roll.
Yeah, I'm with that. Because again, what I just said, laws are only laws that they're enforced. If you give her this carve out, then you're setting the precedent that what she did is okay. And you just can't do that. She tried to set the precedent that what Donald Trump didn't do was something that he did to the tune of a $450 million judgment, right? She listed her husband, her father as her husband. She's not even married. It's not one of those things where, oops, I made a mistake and put dad's name where hubby's name was supposed to. That's you don't have a husband.
Maybe she's banging her dad.
Well, I hope not, No. It'll be like some Ilhan Omar type stuff. Some people did something.
See, we instantly...
We had to do it, right? Jar Jar Binks, we call it Jar Jar Binks.
I forgot what I was going to say.
It's so funny. It's such a great impression. It's so distracting.
Oh, right. Some people, I'd say most people, because we're reasonable and obviously incest is wrong.
Right.
When you hear that she listed her dad as her husband, you're like, she must have been lying to secure loan terms. Maybe and it's like, wait, maybe she's just gross.
Yeah, she could be. She looks like Sasquatch. Look at her. That's Sasquatch. You will not see anything different. You look up a picture of what Sasquatch looks like, same person.
No, she's not blurry enough.
Well, right, yeah. She hasn't been taken on a Nokia flip phone.
And I got to give a shout out to Mitch Hedberg for that one. What is his joke? Maybe Sasquatch is just blurry? Yeah. That dude was a legend. But look, in terms of the escalation, the question is, will the Trump administration has saber rattled quite a bit. Now these judges are saber rattling. Yeah. Is any one of them actually going to say, okay, let's go arrest people? Trump's pulled clearances. The rumor is when he pulled the clearances of like Hillary Clinton and Biden and Secret Service and all that, it's preparation for an arrest. I would argue with midterm season starting in like not even a year, like it's going to be less than that, to be honest. Yeah. We're already in the 2028 primary cycle with Shapiro and Newsom. Trump's got a very limited window to do bold things. If he waits a year to issue indictments, that will upset the midterms and could hurt him.
Yeah, I think it'll demotivate the base. I mean, we heard about retribution, right? And I don't think retribution was supposed to be half measures. And I'm not saying I'm disappointed in what he's done his first 100 days. I'm very happy with how a lot of things have started off, but he's got to go all the way on at least some of it. I'm not saying you got to round up everybody who said, and take broadcasting licenses away from everybody and indict and arrest like crazy, like whack-a-mole. But something's got to happen. I mean, Letitia James, this should be low-hanging fruit. She lied on this. It looks like it anyway.
Yeah.
Right? Unless this was a calamity of coincidences, which I don't believe in. There's no way that what she did isn't mortgage fraud if she actually did that, intentionally, which looks like she did.
Well, she responded, I am not afraid of no president.
Oh, God, come on.
No, stop, gentlemen. Once again, you're making an incorrect assumption. That's a double negative, in which she's saying she may be afraid of some presidents.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
She says she's coming for Trump. I'm not afraid of no president, so you are afraid of some president. Donald Trump, we're ready for you. We're coming for you. Let me just stress that the appellate court has been sitting on their ruling in the civil fraud case for 7 months, which is very weird.
Yeah.
Makes no sense. I think that this was clearly deep state versus Trump. And the appellate court knows if they issue a ruling, they're either saying we will help the deep state or we will help Trump, and they don't know who's going to win, so they're just doing nothing.
They're waiting, sitting on their hands.
Yep.
Kind of seeing which way the
wind blows.
The wind blows. Yeah. Oh, I ain't afraid of no president. Okay. Well, Sasquatch. She's
But
afraid
again, we all learned our double negatives.
Right.
Okay, you don't do that. Right.
Right.
What did you say? So I've got to rush back to the office because you know that there's nothing more close to my heart than a lawsuit. And so you tell Donald Trump the lawsuit's coming in a matter of hours. Okay. And then she said a bunch of stuff I don't care to read. I just want to see some people get arrested. You know what I mean?
That's kind of something that I was thinking, like the whole issue surrounding the real estate stuff. Like, I feel like it's fairly obvious that that was corrupt.
Right.
And I don't know the process that you'd have to go through or the DOJ would have to go through, but I really feel like, hey, shouldn't you be investigating this? This is clearly a BS charge. And isn't there some kind of violation of the law when all the parties involved said, no, we're happy with this situation, and they blatantly lied about the value of Mar-a-Lago, and she went to prosecute. Isn't there some remedy, or didn't she break some law? And again, not that I know, but I feel like, shouldn't the DOJ be like, all right, look, you broke this law, we're going to invest, or you broke the law by trying to, improperly prosecute this person. It was based on total BS. It was politically motivated. Isn't that, I feel like that, again, I don't know, but I feel like there should be some kind of law that was broken. That I feel like that is illegal somehow. And why is it that the DOJ hasn't started to investigate that kind of stuff?
I can't answer that question.
Not going to get arrested.
No, I mean, I don't think so either. Well, even for this, you don't think so?
No. It's
Why?
all bravado and nothing ever happens. Right again.
I hope this is the exception to the rule. When I lived in New York, I never liked this lady. All right. Before I figured out that she looked like Sasquatch, I still never liked her. And
You're saying that you would have liked someone else more? Like if you heard
probably not. Yeah, I probably wouldn't like any. I don't like any Democrats in New York. You have Kathy Hochul.
No, but you said even, what would you say, even before?
Before she looked like Sasquatch. before I
Right. So
realized
the
that.
implication is that there are some people you've not met that you would like more if
Yeah.
you saw them and they looked like Sasquatch.
Well, but
I agree with that. If I knew a dude, but I only ever talked to him on the phone, and I showed up and Sasquatch was there, I'd be like,
yeah, I would be like, we found him. Right? It's like, finally, we got something. I want to see her. There are things I want to say we can't say. Right. But she is such a detestable person. And she's carried herself in this, how many times did she post on X? Nobody's above the law. And she's doing this. Right.
Her insolence should be smacked down.
Right.
But it's not going to happen.
That's what I feel like.
Like if she got arrested, I'd be like, oh, karma's a bitch. But
and then
she's
you'd say
not gonna
things
get
happen?
arrested. Then I would finally admit that something happened.
They arrested Donald Trump twice. Is that not a thing happening?
Okay, that's a happening. Fine.
And that was only last year. Like they literally arrested him.
Yeah.
It was funny because we kept saying like maybe they'll arrest him. Actually, no, wait, he's been arrested several times already.
I've said before, he's just not angry enough. He's so magnanimous that he's like the retribution thing was. It was
Give me
just
the Donald
bravado,
Trump
and it's-
that the left says that.
I know.
Yes,
I wish
yes.
all the time that he were the man they say he is, but he's not.
Minus
the
maybe
famous-
the dictator. I'm not into the whole authoritarian. I like that. Yeah, I have a very strong libertarian streak. I don't want a president to rule like a king, but I want angry Trump with these people.
The saying is, be the change you want to see in the world. I like the meme that's be the right the left thinks you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or at least be as tough. You know,
No, the right is the please leave me alone side, and the left is we will win side.
yeah, that's true. That is very true.
Yeah.
That is very true. You saw that in
Time for the
Wisconsin.
tables to turn then.
I mean, I would.
But that's what Trump is. And that's, so with 2015, you had the populists with Bernie and the populists on the right with Trump. Trump is a forceful guy who knows how to get things done. And Bernie is a shallow, weak-willed hypocrite.
Yeah.
So he got washed out in 2 seconds. Trump kicked the door in and started rearranging the furniture.
Yeah.
They did not like that.
I want to see Trump doing a little of the FDR. A little of the Abraham Lincoln.
4 terms?
No, that's not what I'm thinking. I'm thinking about like actually being an expansive, energetic, muscular president. I want him. Well, I mean, I don't know about shock and awe, but
Maybe he should start taking some tea and get ripped and just look. He can be he can be the Trump that Ben Garrison thinks he is.
He's 220 pounds.
Yes.
So
Sure
they
he
say.
is.
He's
Donald
elite.
So
Trend
they
Trump.
say. Have you seen the meme of Donald Trump 6'3", 225, and then DK Metcalf at the Seattle Seahawks?
Donald
6'3",
Trump.
and this guy looks like Superman, and I'm like, so maybe Trump is 200 something. Looks
Well, muscle weighs more than fat, right?
like, yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not fat though. I'm a beautiful guy. I talked to Zeus.
I think, Mary, you're probably not familiar with the Ben Garrison comics.
I've seen them.
So, like, Trump's always ripped,
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know, because, you're like a young person over here, so I don't know if you're into those boomer memes, you know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's kind of like a Mexican standoff. The concern is that whoever makes the first move for law enforcement, it's like we're at that point where Matt Taibbi described it as 2 vehicles speed towards the police station, and then 2 men get out of the cars, run up to the stairs, run up to the police officer, and they point at each other, arrest that man.
Right. That's
So-
a game of chicken.
But I would say right now, Trump's play is now for one reason. He is the duly elected president with a popular mandate, and there is no reason to doubt that. If Trump gives Democrats a long enough period of time, they will create a criminal narrative, which they are doing with, quote, Maryland man. Now Boasberg is saying criminal contempt because they're trying to create a fissure within the psyche of law enforcement in this country that they will be justified in the arrest of Trump at some point. If Trump right now made moves to arrest, he's the president. This is the DOJ. This is the FBI. What questions are to be asked? 6 months from now, the narrative may be implanted in the minds of half the country that Trump kidnapped a legal U.S. resident and sent him to a torture dungeon to die. And that's the narrative they're trying to build.
Yeah.
And when that happens, and Trump says, we've got a warrant for your arrest, they will turn around and say, what Trump is doing is illegal. Don't forget, he kidnapped American citizens and sent them to torture dungeons.
Yeah. That's a good point. And that's why that goes back to the branding of Maryland man.
Exactly.
Right.
And then what happens is you'll get a cop and he's going to be like, I don't know nothing about this. Okay. See, double negatives. He's going to be like, a warrant was issued. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And the governor of his blue state is going to say, you do not report to Donald Trump. You are a Maryland police officer. Trump is breaking the law. No one is above the law. Trump can't let them get to that point in shattering the psyche of this country, which means he has a very small window for going after corrupt people like Letitia James and Adam Schiff and Liz Cheney for the crimes that they are alleged to have committed with falsifying evidence or tampering with witnesses. Because if he waits, they're now accusing him of stock manipulation.
Yeah.
They are trying to stack up the things for which they can accuse him of committing crimes.
Yeah.
So that they can get people willing to fight Trump.
Do you think it'll be on a state basis like that, like you said, a Maryland judge?
It has to be.
Yeah, so it's going to be a bunch of Democrats who are arguing for states' rights again.
Yes. Well, so
Where have we seen that before?
What happens?
Wonder where.
What happens if Boasberg says, we're going to have a criminal contempt proceeding and I want you in my court? And they say, go F yourself. We're not showing up. And then he says, then you are in contempt and I will issue a warrant for your arrest. And they say, nice try. Blue states will absolutely uphold those warrants.
Absolutely.
You might get a conservative-leaning cop in Maryland. Look, the cops in Maryland talk a big game. The cops in Jersey talk a big game. We're Trump supporters. We're conservatives. People have right to bear arms, but they will arrest you in 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
In Jersey, they arrest little old ladies for having weapons. It's a famous story about some little old lady from PA crossed the bridge not realizing they did not have reciprocity. They threatened her with 4 years in prison. Cops are just like, look, man, my boss told me what to do, and I ain't giving up my salary for you.
Just following orders.
Yeah, so you're going to get a blue state where they're going to be like, Madam U.S. Attorney, I have a warrant for your arrest. And she's going to say, I am the U.S. Attorney for this district. This is unconstitutional. He's going to say, I don't know nothing about that other than my boss told me to arrest you. And I'm not going to lose my job for you because I don't know who you are. And then what? They get arrested? This is what people say, like, nah, they would never do it, bro.
Yes, they would.
Yeah, they absolutely would.
They absolutely would.
A cop who is a diehard Trump supporter who lives in Los Angeles would absolutely arrest one of Donald Trump's cabinet or administration if
They'd
he was
be
told
a
to do it.
hero to the left.
No. I'm saying a conservative cop who supports Trump and wears MAGA hats, who works in the LA Police Department, when told to arrest a Donald Trump administration official, would do so and say, sorry about doing this. You know how I know? Because they literally did it over and over again. With the arrest of Trump's lawyers and the arrest of Trump himself, not a single cop said, I got a problem with this. Not a single cop had a problem with arresting Trump's lawyers, administration officials, and Trump himself. They all just did it. So Trump right now is the president. He's got a short window. That's all I'm saying.
I don't think you're wrong, but I think that when it comes to, who would arrest Trump, look, man, there's a lot of people that would love to be like, I'm the guy that arrested.
Yeah.
But and you're right. And there's a lot of liberal cops too who are going to be like, I hate this guy, I'll arrest him. But the scary thing about it is not a single police officer in any of these states where they arrested Trump's people in the federal government, where was any of the FBI, a single FBI, to actually come out while on the job and say the raid on Trump's home is wrong and should not have been done. Now, there are a couple FBI agents who got fired and blew the whistle for unrelated things, who then came out and spoke out. But no act, as far as I can tell, maybe I'm wrong. You guys chat me and tell me if I'm wrong. But my understanding is no active FBI spoke up and said, this is wrong what we are doing to the front runner for the Republican Party. No officer in any of these cases publicly said, I will not arrest Donald Trump. This is unconstitutional. Not a single one.
No.
When it comes down to it, they will all say, look, man, I've got kids that need food, and I will not sacrifice my children for you.
Yeah. That's unfortunate, but that's the position they're going to put themselves in. And we've seen people capitulate in the past. I mean, look at the vaccine mandates, for example.
Yeah.
And people regret doing it, but they had to do it to keep their job. And I don't know what to do in that. In that situation, what do you do? But now you're talking about something a little different than just getting a shot right in your arm. You're throwing the country into turmoil. You arrest now. Can Donald Trump be arrested? Because he is the president, and the Supreme Court has given him immunity for official acts. So can he be arrested?
Yes.
100%. How so?
Shooting someone on Fifth Avenue is not an official act.
That's true, but these actions to deport somebody is an official act as president.
But the issue that we're looking at is they're going to argue that it is that the court ordered him to facilitate the return of this man, and so Trump is in active defiance of what would be his constitutional duties.
Okay.
So look, the reality is when they say the word Maryland man, you only need to understand they will lie to create a justification for why Trump, what he did was not within the confines of this. With Letitia James's case against Trump, you know that they will lie and make up a crime to go after Trump for. They accused him of a 30-year-old rape case that makes literally no sense.
They had to change the
statute.
Indeed. Once they build up a substantial position where they have enough law enforcement questioning whether or not Trump is going to maintain his position, whether or not what he's doing is constitutional, then they will create a criminal pretext, and then they will start going after Trump's personnel. They did this in his first term. They did it to Michael Flynn. They did it to Paul Manafort. They did it to Navarro, and they did it to Bannon.
Yep.
They put Peter Navarro and Bannon in prison. And Merrick Garland, who committed contempt of Congress, got no time.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
So there are a couple more happenings for you. Steve Bannon and Peter Navarro, Trump's like economic advisor, was jailed by the Democrats. His lawyers were jailed by the Democrats. They've done all of these things. They're going to do them again, unless Trump takes it seriously, I guess. I'm assuming he is. I'll ask him, I guess.
Yeah.
Next time I see him.
Yeah.
You get the chance.
I certainly want to talk to our FBI because let me just tell you, nobody knows any of this better than Dan Bongino.
That's true. Yeah,
And he's deputy director.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Kash Patel had the book of all the deep state people in it.
He was a target too.
Yup.
During Spygate.
So I can't imagine, like with the conversations we've had with Cash and Dan in the past, I can't imagine they're sitting there being like, we are clueless to this.
No,
I wouldn't be surprised if they were aware of this conversation right now and they're like, we know.
I mean, look, if there are investigations going on, the last thing that they want is that kind of information getting out.
Of course not.
You know,
Yeah.
so it's like, as much as there are people that are like, oh, the Trump administration's not doing anything, the Trump administration's not doing anything because, you know, they don't have anything. Dan Bongino himself has said, look, he said on Twitter a couple weeks ago, just because
you don't
see it doesn't mean things aren't happening.
Yo, I trust Cash and Dan.
That's the only reason why I actually have faith in the FBI is because of the leadership. If this was still Christopher Wray and Andy McCabe, you know, I would be like, what?
Even Trump's first term.
Yeah.
It's like, we don't trust Comey. We don't trust these people.
No.
And now he's got Kash Patel and Dan Bongino. And I'm like, wow.
They deserve time. I get the frustration.
And faith.
And faith. I get the frustration. You know, we want, and we're in that, it's 2025. We're in that everything's got to happen in the first 90 seconds.
Yeah, and Tim's not wrong about the time frame either. He doesn't have forever.
He doesn't have forever.
Hey, look, I am not frustrated in the least with Pam Bondi, Cash, or Dan. I know a lot of people are, and you're wrong to be frustrated. They have all of my benefit of the doubt, all of it. And so from all of the people that we've seen be in these positions, even in Trump's term, during Obama, it was a joke.
Yeah.
During Trump's first term, he had bad people. During Biden's term, we had real bad people.
Real bad people.
Now we got real good people. Real good people. And so I'm sitting there being like, let him cook.
Bondi, I'm lukewarm on Bondi, only because of how the Epstein stuff was handled, where she came on Jesse Waters the night before and said, we have it. And then the next day, well, we don't. But how did you not know? That's the one thing I'll push back on her on.
That's fine, but I think she's talking big game.
She is. And
it spiraled.
And it was, you know, then the 3-ring binder, 3-ring circus, whole thing, you know, whatever. But I will say we have found and charged with domestic terrorism a lot of these folks who were the real bad ones with the Teslas. The drug busts with the FBI have been big, and you know Bongino, he knows where the bodies are buried. I mean, the guy wrote books. He built his career off of all this, but he can't just come out and say, well, yeah, we're investigating this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy for A, B, C, D, E, F, and G because you don't do that.
I will say this again. You know, I said this the other day, but Dan's a great guy. He gave up the biggest live show in the country.
Yeah.
He was averaging like 170,000 concurrent.
It's incredible.
Viewers. No one could hold a candle to his show, and he decided to be a public servant instead.
Yeah.
And there's very few people that I actually look up to, but that move right there, I look up to Dan for making that move, and that's why that's why one of the principal reasons why I trust Dan. First of all, he's right. He talked about this stuff every single day. He knew the ins and outs of it. He was right. Cash, because we've sat down with Cash and we've talked to him about all this stuff. And Cash never blew smoke up our asses. When he was asked on our show about pardoning Assange, he said, I'm not so sure that makes sense, and here's why. He didn't just say what he thought we wanted to hear. He says, no, here's my actual thoughts on the matter. I have tremendous respect for that. He didn't just try and pander for support. He's a good dude. And I think we're going to get some moves. I do. I really, really do. And I don't know if that means that like you get tribunals and like paddy wagons pulling people over or whatever, picking people up and stuff like that.
It'd be sick though.
It would be sick.
I think they're going to do exactly what they can do within the confines of the law and the Constitution, but as far as they can to make sure it gets done, because they're on the chopping block the same as Trump and everybody else.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. And Dan gave up. I mean, you mentioned that he gave up a lot when that news came out. Because I've been following Dan for a very long time, you know, back to when he started really going crazy on Spygate, and I was like, this sounds like a loony story, but he had the receipts. You know, you mentioned he talks about it every day. He brings it all to the table, and I'm like, this is not a loony story. This is the biggest political spying scandal ever. Yeah, it made Watergate look like nothing. You know, the fact that he built it from there to, like you said, the #1 live show, to walk away from that, for people to think that he's going to walk away from that and then do nothing with it, why walk away, right? So why would you leave what you built so you could tweet on an account with a gray check? You know what I mean? Like, so that's not what he's doing. But it is going to take time. He's only been on the job for a month. You know, so it's going to take. I think his first day on the job was what, the 15th of March, or 16th of March, something like that.
Yep.
So it's been a month.
Yeah.
I mean, well,
Look,
it's not. It's
knowing Dan from his show, like what he represents. I kind of imagine when they approached him and said, "How would you like to be deputy FBI director?" He just went, "Let's go." Like everything he has talked about, we will give you the sword of the DOJ to get that job done. And so I'm looking for it. Yo, what do you think the salary of the deputy FBI director is?
It's like 150 grand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
It's like
Guessing.
between 150 and 200,000, depending on how long they've been there, and
So he's at the low end of that probably because he's a rookie in that department.
I mean, to be fair, like he's
rich.
He's
oh, I mean, he should be
perfectly
fine, right?
Yeah.
But to still walk away from just what he built, Rumble, how Rumble is taken off. You know, he's an equity holder. Just put a new studio together. He started to expand his network.
Yeah.
Right. To then, and it's not like he left everybody high and dry, but to do what he did, to walk away from that, the number one live stream in the country, the world.
And going into the administration, knowing what the previous administration and the DOJ had done, and the attacks to Donald Trump's previous administration, he knows that it's possible that they could go after him.
That's right.
If the Democrats win after in the next election.
We do got a couple more segments, so I just want to grab one super chat that's in context here. Nick G said, I think it was Bannon that said something like, "We'll see arrests by midsummer."
I mean, look, man.
Guys, I just want you to just close your eyes real quick, and I just want you to imagine it's 4th of July. you're in your backyard. You got some burgers and some brats on the grill. Your kids are playing. Everyone's smiling. Your fireworks are ready to go. Your friends, your family there. You're smiling and say, life is good. Your phone vibrates. You look down. Hillary Clinton has been arrested. You smile, and the fireworks go.
Wonderful. I'll be on the lake in New Hampshire.
Let me ask this question. Where do I sign for that? Like, where is there
You're
a
going to need
piece
to find a lamp to rub and ask the genie for it.
Please, where's the...
The only thing I want right now for the next, from today until autumn, I just want to be sitting outside, sunset with burgers on the grill, with my phone going, burp, another arrest.
Yeah, another one. Yeah.
I don't know, man. It might be a pipe dream. You know, it might be wishful thinking. But there's so many things a person could wish for. $1 million, a new car. But that scenario, that's serenity right there, you know?
Yeah. I don't know if Hillary's going to get, but when Bannon says arrest by midsummer, I just...
Okay, wait.
Something.
You're sitting there. Your buddy's got the burgers on, and he's like, extra cheese, right? And you're like, definitely. He gets the burger ready. Your phone vibrates, and you look. Adam Schiff and Liz Cheney arrested.
Oh. There you go.
Again, where do I side that watermelon head?
I mean, I love the idea of wrapping up a Clinton, but I think that there are people that have at least more recent substantive crimes that should be actually prosecuted. It's possible that Hillary Clinton has broken the law, especially when it comes to her what's it called, her server that she kept in the bathroom,
bleach bit.
But I think that the attempts to put Trump and his administration in jail are, because of their recents, are a little more visceral for me.
Yeah.
So I'd love to see people that were in Biden's administration wrapped up, and people in Congress, like Schiff and stuff like that.
Judge Mershon.
They would be more satisfying.
A Judge Mershon to me would be an Alvin Bragg. These people that you just mentioned perverting the law. There's got to be some sort of violation in there. Yeah. A Mershon, a Letitia James, an Adam Schiff. Folks like that, I mean, I would arrest Eric Swalwell for farting on live television, but that's just me,
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.